and the reason I bring this up is we were talking about Macaulay Culkin. And we were trying to think of how famous Macaulay Culkin was because he appeared on Raw. He was on Raw.
Huge pop on Raw.
Got a huge pop on Raw. And then someone was like, "Oh, I don't think that he's like, do young people know him?" Like, every young person watches Home Alone.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Macaulay?
Also, adults know he was unquestionably one of the 10 biggest movie stars in the world for like 3 years.
Yes, and that's why I was saying he's like...
And quickly became one of the highest paid as well.
I'm saying he's like right below Santa still, probably, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
As far as...
Right below Santa.
Santa is the most famous person in the world.
This is interesting.
Oh, Jesus.
Santa's the most...
Christ.
Yeah, are we
I think Santa's more famous
figures?
than Jesus.
I
To a
don't-
little kid, if you talk to little kids... you know Santa? Yeah, I know Santa. Do you know Jesus?
But
yeah,
in order to celebrate Christmas, you have to be Christian, so you must know Jesus.
That's true. And
That's
there's
Jewish,
also
and
not
we were
true at all. What are you talking
yeah.
about? You just said that's true?
no.
Christmas is a Christian holiday.
Yeah, but
My
also you don't
family
have
was
to-
big on Santa.
There's
Yeah.
there's a secular
Very
secular
secular.
Christmas.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just going to say, like, if we're going to play that game, there are more Muslims in the world. So like I would think, like, you know, how famous is, like, I think the Muslim population is bigger than the Christian population now in absolute terms.
Sure.
So
but
we're
they
comparing
know Santa.
Can we make a Mount famous more? I think Santa and Jesus are on there.
Sure.
I'm going to put forth SpongeBob.
SpongeBob?
I'm like, who's the most famous cartoon character where, like, visually distinctive, you feel like you could get off a plane anywhere in the world and there's a good chance a kid would know?
I feel like if you're going to see, like, there like a bootleg in any country, there will
Right.
be a bootleg SpongeBob.
Yes.
And that also brings me to Sonic the Hedgehog. I kind of feel like Sonic the Hedgehog is really...
More than Mario?
I'd probably do Mario over
IMDb
Sonic.
has a list of the top 10 most famous people in the world.
Is Santa on there?
No.
Okay.
Well, now this list might be too human.
Are any religious
This is-
figures on there?
What would you just
No.
say?
Walt Disney's on there.
Walt Disney is number one.
Well, for Amelia, Walt Disney is real.
Amelia thinks that Walt Disney is a character created by Mickey Mouse.
I think Macaulay Culkin's pretty damn famous.
Yeah.
I think Santa is the most famous.
My friend Alex and I talk about this a lot, how, like, in the early 90s when we were children, we feel like there were 10 famous people. There were 10 people who were arguably famous, and we'll sometimes, like, text each other and be like, you know who's another one of the 10? But we, like, talk about this group of, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Sure.
Danny DeVito, Macaulay Culkin, and part of it for us is, like, people who would have appeared on the Kids' Choice Awards and the Oscars in the same year.
Arnold actually maybe does beat Mac. I think he beats Mac Culkin.
Michael Jackson's one of the 10.
Michael Jackson probably
Michael Jackson's
still
number 2 on this list.
Okay.
Michael Jackson
There we
still
go.
probably is. Is Tom Cruise number 1?
No, Walt Disney's number 1.
Oh, Disney is number
Whose
1.
list is this? Who made this
is
list?
IMDb's list.
This is actually IMDb. This is not a fan creation.
Oh no, it is a fan creation. I think.
Because I feel like if we're talking in absolute terms again, just you know, we're viewing it through our own prism. We're thinking of like a very Western centric sort of thing. I think there's probably some Indian or Chinese celebrity who we're not familiar with, or political figure who is in absolute terms more famous than a lot of people we consider extremely famous.
This is an Americanized list. This is a Westernized. Michael Jordan would be in that 10. I would say inarguably. If we're talking the American.
Sure.
We get that. Look, we're not trying to be problematic. It's from my dumb white guy perspective.
I wasn't even saying problematic. I was just saying, like what list are we making? Are we making the Mitch list? Because that's its own thing.
Like, you're right. Let's put Gerard Depardieu in the 10. He's in the 10.
I'd like to have him in there.
Yeah.
Who made that
list? I think
list?
Gerard Depardieu, by the way, is a very funny celebrity.
It was a fan list. So it was like
Tommy
not
Disney
legit.
or some shit trying to push fucking Walt up the chain. Jemmy's probably pretty famous.
Jimmy is pretty famous.
Jimmy, I think, is in the 10.
Jamelia Donahue. I
can't be this fucking old. I can't be getting people's names wrong.
I like Jamelia Donahue.
Jamelia Donahue.
Doughboys is just produced by Jamelia Donahue.
Own it.
Okay.
It's not a mistake.
Mike
It's
in
a
there
gift.
somehow.
Yeah, we'll get him in there.
Casey, do you own Dune on physical media? Not to go backwards and further away from talking about our chain.
Great question, Griff. I do not yet because I don't feel like they've released a version that I would like to own. But I do own it digitally.
Let's stay in conversation about this.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna get you a steelbook at some point. I need you to buy a steel. Yeah,
right.
I want to see your ass in a steelbook. I'm gonna get you at a car dealership. You look so good with a steelbook in your hands. I'd love to see what you could do with that bad boy.
So much spice in this.
Yeah.
Can we agree that Santa is just one of the most famous people in the world? I
agree. He's one of the more famous
I
people.
think Santa is maybe the most famous. Does Santa, he's got a whole month, first of all. The month of December is his. And then there's different iterations of Santa in every culture.
But I'm really now sort of circling back to Mario.
Mario's
I
very
think Mario's
Mario's
very famous.
really
Is Mario
high.
more
Really
famous than
famous.
Arnold?
Yeah, now
today?
it is. Yeah,
No
100%.
Ooh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I also, we have friends with kids. And
they don't know
they'll be like,
Arnold.
who is that? Or they'll be like, it's funny that old man has muscles or something. You know what I mean? Like they don't understand the cultural cachet of Arnold Schwarzenegger of the 80s and 90s.
No.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse probably at one point was, but now is less. So
I think Mickey has maybe declined a little bit. Although there's a lot of awareness of Mickey.
Do you think Mario more famous than Mickey?
I think Mario is currently more
think
famous
so,
than
yeah, I
Mickey.
think so.
I would put that.
Biggest IP in the world, the most successful IP in the world is Pokemon. That's like in
So
terms
Pikachu
of dollars.
more famous than
I'm not saying Pikachu is more
Yeah.
famous than Mario, but I'm just saying like that's where the world that's where the global culture is.
I think Pokemon, as much as Pikachu is the face of the franchise, I think there's more spread power across the entire tapestry, especially since there's so many characters.
Yeah.
I think Mario
Ash
is
Ketchum.
a singular figure.
Yeah.
Is maybe the most recognizable like fictional character pop iconography in the world.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That would be my guess.
Does Sonic beat Arnold? Yes.
Yeah. Today, yes.
Yeah,
Does Sonic and
100%.
you don't think Sonic beats Mario?
No, I think Mario beats
I think
Sonic.
Mario's ahead of Sonic.
So
Of course, they did compete at the Olympic Games.
Here's the big question.
Yeah.
Does Mario beat Santa?
Yeah.
I think so.
You think Mario beats Santa?
He might.
I think so.
I think Santa's the most famous person in the world.
This is interesting. I haven't heard this from you. Expand on that. This is a new take.
Santa's so famous.
Yeah. None of us are disagreeing.
Santa, Mario, Mac. That's my ranking.
You
present
think
day,
current
you're
Macaulay
pretty
Culkin. It's number
Macaulay
3.
Culkin is I think as a human being is one of the most famous people in the world.
You should call Susser's kids and ask if they know who Macaulay Culkin is.
They do. That was a part of the test.
Oh, okay.
That was I was talking about this with Sus too, and it was like, yeah, kids watch Home Alone. All young people watch Home Alone. They all watch Home Alone. They know Macaulay Culkin. I just think that he is one of the more famous people still in the world.
Forbes,
and good for him. He stuck around for a long time.
Forbes has discontinued this, but for many years they published the Celebrity 100 and the top 10 most powerful celebrities was part of it. 1999, if we go back to then, Michael Jordan 1, Oprah Winfrey 2, Leonardo DiCaprio 3, Jerry Seinfeld 4, Steven Spielberg 5.
Big 5.
Yeah, and then
Michael Jordan's been taken over by Oprah at this point, I would say.
I think so. And that, in 2010, Oprah, which is 20, not 20 years later, but over a decade later, Oprah is number 1. And then in 2020, which I guess was the last time they published it, number 1, Kylie Jenner. Number 2, Kanye. Number 3, Roger Federer. Number 4, Cristiano Ronaldo. This is where the things, and number 5, Lionel Messi. So it's like this is the kind of thing which has
even back then. That was sorry.
Well, no, but I think in a global, it's just a global perspective. We're thinking in global terms. It was just like, yeah, Messi is so, and I'm not even saying his name correctly. I don't think because I don't follow soccer, but like soccer is so fucking huge.
Messier,
yeah.
No,
Messi.
Messier.
Messi.
Messi
is the
Messi?
hockey player.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oops.
Yeah.
I think Michael Jackson's still
When we have lunch together, you get a little messy, but I get a little Messier.
Dear God. All right, let's talk about the restaurant. Fine. There was more. I guess we shouldn't discuss how famous.
Is Cupid more famous than
Cupid
Santa?
is very famous, but no.
No.
Cupid's
What about
not more-
no?
Okay.
No.
What about Zeus?
No. Then Santa? What do you think Santa is? What is this?
Don't be incensed. What about Jack Skellington?
No.
I think he maybe makes the 10 though.
Yeah, you might make the 10.
He might
Jack
make the 10.
Skellington makes the
Skellington's
10?
really
Jack
well
Skellington's
known.
really famous. That motherfucker's bony face is on everything.
Yeah, you seen how many hoodies there are out there
Yeah.
with Jack Skellington on?
The image of a Pokeball, perhaps more famous than Santa.
Okay,
Amelia,
that's
that's a
an object
good
list.
take.
That's an
That's-
object list.
That's a good
a
take.
Pokeball is a Pokeball more famous than Santa.
Yeah.
Shit, I hope Santa doesn't get trapped in the Pokeball if it's out there.
Here's a question: is a Pokeball more famous than a snake? Like, you're like, what is this? And you point to a snake and a Pokeball. Are people going to be able to identify one more than the other?
Just any snake.
Any snake.
Snake.
Just a snake?
Like, if someone's like, what is that? They're pointing at the snake. It's like, I know that Pokeball.
The idea of someone seeing a snake and go, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question.
Yeah.
If you show someone a picture of a snake,
Yeah.
and you go, what is that? And they say diamondback,
Yeah.
and they've misidentified the species, do you still accept the answer as snake?
Yeah, I'd still give them credit for that. Because
Okay.
you're identifying a snake, you just maybe miss snake. That feels like you're trying a level. I'd almost just say, like,
Okay, then
do less.
So then
be
we're
less
basically
specific.
saying any snake versus any Pokeball.
Just knowing it's a snake.
I think snake wins.
Okay.
I think Snake is more famous than Pokeball.
Okay, got it.
But now it makes me question, is Snake more famous than Santa?
But see, now we're talking about, this is getting so abstract.
If you
The
look at a
idea
snake,
of any
Yeah.
snake, any representation
Is
of
snake-
any type of snake.
I think there's
I
a chance.
don't know if a snake is more famous than Santa.
I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance someone could look at a snake and Santa and not really have an idea of what either is, but know, like, be better able to identify Santa's. Like, I think that's like the winter, like, holidays, man.
Who the fuck is this
And
guy?
and the snake, they'd be like, I don't know, like, that's weird. Is that like a green worm, or is that like a just some sort of reptile? You know, is that like a lizard?
Okay,
you know,
but hold on a
The
second.
winter holiday,
Yeah.
man?
well, like they've seen them around the season, but they don't know specifically who they are.
This is where the conversation is.
Yeah,
going. Dog is infinitely more famous than Santa
yeah.
or
Dog
snake.
is more famous than
Dog
Santa.
We're
is more
saying any
famous.
dog. The
Is dog
ability
the-
to show anyone a picture of any dog, photographed or drawn,
and be like, that's a dog.
who's going to say, I don't know to
Yeah,
him?
I would trust that you'd say that's a dog if you saw a picture of a dog.
Is dog more famous than any other animal? Like, is dog more famous than horse?
I think dog's the most famous animal.
More than cat and horse.
Dog's more
Cat's a
famous than
type
cat, yeah,
two.
for sure.
Whoa, relax there.
Yeah,
Dog's
come
more
on.
famous than kitty cat.
No,
Cat
yeah.
people.
That's easy.
Okay, fine. I won't argue dog versus cat.
Cat's a type 2. Horse is a slightly more distant third.
Let me throw something at you, bird.
No, dog.
Is bird more famous than horse?
Dog is more famous. Dog versus Santa is a good argument, but now here's here's the big question.
Yeah.
Person.
Okay.
Person versus Santa.
Mitch, I considered this a couple minutes ago and I
Yeah.
didn't say it. I
Yeah.
stopped myself because I think genuinely dog is more famous than person.
Wow.
I think if you show a picture of a dog
Mhm.
to a person,
Yes.
they would have a better chance of identifying it correctly.
Then if you
then
showed
this
a
is another
person to a
person.
dog,
Yeah.
I think
I
Santa,
think so. I think so.
I think Santa wins in a three-way competition between dog, person, and Santa. I think Santa's the most famous
so
of
you
the
don't
three.
think Santa's a person?
Santa is a person, but he's a very specific person.
Here's where you're starting to win me over.
Yes.
Now that we've gotten into the animal and object territory.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to show someone any visual representation of a person
Yeah.
and approach it with confidence that they will be correctly identified,
Yeah.
Santa is the person you want to pick.
Right, because I'm trying to think of like who has more like specifics that are immediately identifiable
Totally.
to everyone. And my mind goes like Captain Hook, but it's
Right.
not Captain Hook.
No, it's not.
Captain Hook is not more famous
No,
than Santa.
it's Santa.
But he has distinct qualities where
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, he's got an eye patch, he's got the hook hand, or
But,
whatever.
like,
he's got
Santa-
a pirate hat.
Captain Hook isn't more famous than dog or snake or anything. It's
Okay.
way lower.
All right, I
Captain
would
Hook
just-
also isn't
just-
like more famous than Peter Pan.
That's what I was just throwing an
Okay,
example
okay,
out there.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think that he
But
actually
I think
was.
Santa, you could identify Santa even through multiple layers of abstraction.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like someone could probably identify Santa from silhouette without
Yes.
colors.
I agree.
You could do like a hyper pixelated fuzzy version of Santa where the
Mhm.
color scheme was clear and people be like, that's probably Santa. You know, it could be a drawing, it could be a person in a Santa costume.
Here's a question for everyone.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Where does Minion go? Because Minion in the past 20 years, I
Yeah.
feel like has skyrocketed up the awareness.
I wonder who the fuck that is.
You're doing the silhouette test. So this is a thing in animation where if you
Right.
can see
It's
someone
Link.
with just
Link.
from just their shadow, basically. That actually it kind of does look like
It does
Link.
look a little bit like Link, but that is very much. It's very much.
But like Homer Simpson passes the silhouette test with flying colors. You see a silhouette of Homer, you know exactly who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, hold on a second. Santa versus Homer, we didn't even talk about.
I think it's Santa,
Santa beats Homer.
but this actually does bring me to like who's the most famous yellow character? Because you've got SpongeBob, you've got Minions, you got Pikachu, you've got Homer. Like there's a lot of like big yellow titans out there.
I mean, Minions is tough because
Okay, Mitch is just showing up a silhouette of a person, of a human being.
Is that more famous than Santa?
That's like the kind of thing.
That looks like an anatomical drawing that was
It
hanging
does.
at the doctor's office.
Like that's like a thing you put on like the Voyager space probe in case aliens discovered it.
Yeah. I also think some people would see that and guess alien.
That's true.
Right? Like when you're making that generic a silhouette, it starts to look a little bizarre.
If it was a silhouette of me or Susser or something, people would be confused.
They guess Santa.
They would guess.
Sorry, you led me right into that one.
100%. You know what? It's an honor to be confused with the most famous thing in the world.
You were talking about, in a recent episode, but also I feel like multiple episodes, how you feel like Santa has been taken away from big guys, that now buff guys get to play Santa.
And then, even after
they announced this fucking Schwarzenegger Santa
which
comedy.
Kyle Moody's in, which we're very excited about, but it is a buff Santa. And then there was an ad right after I did that where there was another buff Santa in an ad.
J.K. Simmons is
J.K.
Santa.
Simmons is
it really
Santa
does
in Red
feel
One.
like big guys don't get to play Santa anymore.
It's fucked up. All right, one last question.
Yeah.
I'm just now, this is maybe crazy.
Okay.
Santa versus like water. I'm thinking of like elements. Do you think like what's the most recognizable thing in the world?
I take water in that one. I think people know
Water's
water.
pretty
I think you
good.
need water, giver of life. I
Okay.
think people have to drink it every day. Yeah.
Trees,
fire, maybe.
Yeah.
I think fire is the most famous element. If we're saying what is the most famous thing on the planet, I'm sorry.
We hate that.
Soon.
Too soon.
Fire,
We don't
yeah.
like wind and fire.
But that
here.
does kind of just prove its cultural stickiness in a way.
Yeah, it's true.
Unfortunately, right? I mean,
Is fire the most famous element? I would go maybe water over fire, but it is very. The hard thing is how do you
that's
see
what
water?
I'm saying. Are you saying like a water droplet, like a
Yeah.
cartoon drop? Are you saying like a glass? Are
Ooh,
you saying an ocean?
A cartoon droplet though is pretty.
The droplet's powerful.
Yeah, we know what a droplet looks like. We know what it is. I think it's Earth. Because I think we walk on Earth. I think we like just see it. We're like immersed in it. And I know air is all around us. Air is omnipresent. We need to breathe air. But I think people don't think about it. I think there's no visual
You're saying
component.
Earth as in the element.
The element of
Because
Earth.
you're making me think something else. Is the planet Earth the most famous person in the world?
Mother Nature.
like a cartoon
Great
image
question.
of the globe.
I think everyone recognizes that's the pale blue dot upon which we live.
Will
I think there are some
anyone
people,
misidentify that? Right?
I think some people will. I think there may be some people who live in
Hey, if you give it the silhouette test, Santa's gonna win it.
versus a circle.
It will be a circle.
Yeah, he's kind of right. It does fail the silhouette test,
People will be like, that's a Pokeball.
Yeah, exactly.
which makes the case for Pokeball.
That's true. I think mostly people will identify the Earth. I think there maybe are some, you have to have like like some awareness of that the Earth is round. I guess it's
We're
like
1 hour into this episode.
Look.
Or if the Netflix conversation is cut out 15 minutes.
flat Earthers exist, so there are some people. But I think even flat Earthers would be like, but I know that's supposed to be the Earth.
Right. They wouldn't deny. They'd say,
Yes.
not my Earth,
Not
but
my
I
Earth,
get
but I know what
you're
that is.
trying to make
Yeah.
me identify.
I would say if you show many Americans a picture of the Earth without the side with the United States on it, they won't be able to identify that.
Casey,
as
that's a
Earth.
good
Casey,
point.
that's a great
But
point.
here's my argument.
Great,
I think
sad,
there is
great
an
point.
abstracted. I think it doesn't have to be accurate in any way, but like blue circle with green shapes within
with
it.
green land masses.
Right. Even if it doesn't look like the fucking country lines at all.
People be
the
like, that's
continent
supposed to be
shapes.
the Earth. I get what that's supposed to represent.
Like a
Yeah, I can
kid's
see that.
version of drawing the Earth without having like a proper sense of geography, I still think reads.
Here's what I'd
What
say
do
to
you like less, flat earthers or thin Santers? I hate thin Santers.
Yeah, I
more
think
than
the thin Santa movement is more destructive.
They're more
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would just take the Earth thing, and the next step I would make is it's the thing on which we live, it's the thing on which society is built, it's the thing on which we stand, but it's a thing that we have to observe via aerial photography, via like space probes that have taken photos of it. I think the thing we see every day with our own two eyes is the sun, and I think the sun is more famous than the Earth.
Wow, fuck.
And I think even people who are like maybe don't have maybe they live in an isolated community and they don't have like any sort of like connection to the outside world.
Yeah.
They're still like, I know what that is. That's the sun.
It's got arguably the most famous element is a big part of it as well.
Fire.
It probably would also pass the silhouette test because it's like,
it would have a little bit,
circle.
Right.
Shit.
It's a great point. All right, sun 1.
Santa
2.
All right.
Dog 3.
Dog 3.
Macaulay Culkin
4.
And then Mario 5.
Oh, yeah. Mario, then Mac.
Mario, then Mac.
All right,
So we're folding fire into sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think that's fair.
Pokeball 6.
Pokeball 6.
Snake 7.
Snake is in the top 10.
Snake is high.
Chuck E.
Snake is
Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese was founded in 1977
Rat. Mouse.
by Nolan Bushnell. Is Rat more famous than Snake?
Oof.
I think it might be.
I think it is.
I think it is.
You
I think
see, see rats more. They live amongst humans.
Is
way
rat more famous than mouse?
Fuck. Mouse may be more.
I think people think of them as the same thing, even though they're not.
Yeah.
I think rodents are just kind of like an umbrella. Yeah, I think rodent.
Which Chuck is.
Chuck is a rodent. Chuck E. Cheese.
We didn't even bring up Bug.
Oh my God.
Bug is huge.
Bug is huge.
Bug might be bigger than any.
That's one thing.
Bug might be bigger than any individual animal.
If all Bug is one,
I see bugs all the time.
all the time. Who doesn't see Bug?
Yeah.
I see bugs all the time.
Do you not see bugs all the time?
I do see bugs all the time.
They're everywhere.
Do you see bugs right now?
I don't see bugs right now.
No.
And I could go outside and see the sun. So is bugs bigger than sun?
But I bet if you look down, you'd catch a bug.
Well, you probably would. Look, sun is more famous than. I think sun is more famous than bugs.
I think so because I think there are arid climates and there are very cold climates where there are not a lot of insects.
Okay.
So I think, but you are going to see the sun.
I have a genuine question.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
Is Moon more famous than Earth?
I bet you I was thinking this. I think Moon is more famous than Earth, but Moon is not more famous than Sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think sun is more fun. I think
Sun is more fun.
I think it's more famous because people think about it.
I gotta tell you
know
something.
what I'm saying?
Moon changes. There's a lot about Moon that's pretty fucking cool and
Moon would
famous.
pass multiple silhouette tests.
It's
versions
true.
of
It's
it.
true.
It's
Yeah.
a great point.
Mac Tonight, the fucking
Yeah.
voyage to the moon with the rocket in the
God,
eye,
that rocks.
made of cheese.
Yeah. Tonight.
Yeah.
It's got that element on its side.
But then
sun
I'm
has fire.
thinking of like Raisin Bran 2-scoop sun.
Yeah, the
and
sun
I'm
is
like, that
huge.
God, I
feels
love that
about
guy.
as famous as you can get.
The fucking sunglasses.
He
So
doesn't
cool.
have them. That's a Mandela effect thing.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like Berenstain Bears that we all remember him wearing sunglasses and he doesn't and he never has.
This is also
Wow.
like Tony the Tiger's nose being blue.
Yes.
Which I remember was black, but no, it's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking crazy.